Ladies and gents, welcome back to the channel. It's midweek muster semi-finals time, and some new faces appearing despite the fact I accidentally added B into the semi-finals. It's actually Numidan. Apologies, I'll fix that afterwards. Yes, Numidan able to take down B 2-1 in the quarterfinals. So Cat, he was moaning at me. He's like, can we maybe shuffle the seedings? I don't like having B every week. Here you go, buddy. You've got a different opponent this time around. Opening game's going to be an interesting, a classic one, actually, for this map. I say classic as if Wilderness existed for a long time, but this has to be one of the most frequent pickups. It's Japanese for Cat. And Numidan going to the Mongols. Best of 5 territory, by the way, so a bit of a longer series. Always love to see that. And that's a very interesting wall. Look at what Cat identified. Yeah, that's cool. So, typically, the back gold is slightly further away than the front gold, but it's close enough you can go for it. This is a great pivot against the Mongol outpost rush that you'd normally expect to see. However, Numidan has scouted it already. Smart read by him. He didn't try to rush into the racks. He obviously had the Uvu, and now he's not going to waste resources on a redundant outpost rush. Wait, did Cat? Oh, that is sick. Cat scouted it. There's a lot of high-level things happening here in the opening of the game, actually. So Cat just saw there's no racks play. He cancelled the walls, so he didn't waste the resources. Hey, these two are feeling it already. I love this. So usually the way this plays out is very different. The Mongol outpost rush can do like a dot of damage. It can stop the shinobi. But now Cat has free reign, right? So Numu's probably just going to be looking for fast feudal into archers here. And then try to play blocker. The worry is if you just go archers, your opponent's going to go for that wall again. And you will be blocked out. Sheep haul so far, looking pretty good for Cat. 18, only 10 for Numu. This is very unordinary. Typically, Mongols get an edge because of the maneuver speed arrow. But you have to remember, he kind of darted across to spot the gold. Meanwhile, Cat went for the north side, which seems to have been a bit more sheep dense. All right, how do you guys predict? Show me the numbers. 75% for Cat. Really? I would have expected maybe something a bit more 50-50 divide. Especially when, reminder, Numidan took out the reigning champ. No small feat. These were the two that I was kind of excited to see match up, by the way. Just playstyle-wise, I think it's quite intriguing. With how Numidan was expected to be more like a chill for the mid-game, with some funky early-game build orders. And Cat being, I'd say, more of an aggressive party in these particular matchups. But after what we saw Numidan do in that deciding game against B, I wouldn't be surprised if this series is a relentless bloodbath on both sides. So Koke is going to be on the way. No play out into the water yet. That is now coming. Cat is moving. And he is being mirrored. Yeah, but Numidan is notably later, which means that Cat will definitely get the dock up. If this had been about the same time, with Shivs out and the Khan, you could have killed this villager. And sorry, let me update the tile. I just realized we haven't actually updated it. So yes, we have got Cat versus Numi now. Sass versus Anna already happened. So every player skip food for Shinobi, is that good? Oh, what? You mean Kura Storehouse? Yeah, Kura just doesn't give you any tempo or control over Feudal Age. Kura is pretty much you conceding control of the early phase of the game. It's great if the Feudal goes long enough. It's great once you're in Castle. But it leaves you very vulnerable to these all-in type plays in Feudal. By going for Shinobi, you have great blockers, right? You can either try to contest directly, or these just kind of function like mini knights. They're that good at killing villages, right? Because of the high base. Dock drop's coming in. Cat, now that he knows it, he should be running straight over. This is the tricky thing if you make this type of play as Mongols. Like when you just play for the Feudal and go to docks, Shinobi's going to ruin your life here. In fact, the timing could not be worse for Numu. Yeah, he doesn't even have the resources. Even if he did, due to Shunshin, he wouldn't be able to get a boat out. So this is a wasted dock. A rough start for Numidan and exactly what Cat was looking for. Not a great look for Numidan. Archery is setting up for the double produce. But if the Shinobi just commit, he could easily kill this. A little bit surprised actually Cat is trying to run away like this instead of just running in and stabbing. There we go. Yeah, because the thing you want to do is when you do this, it forces your opponent to react with a click away. The reason he was losing the shinobi there is because the A clicks were coming in on the ninja. Now he draws attention on the scout, and he can easily just guard this. He's even got the archer ship to now deal with the Khan. And I don't really see a world in which Numu's going to be able to get out here anytime soon for a second dock attempt. So Cat at this stage can start adding in his fishing boats. The archer ship gives him enough protection. Other tricky thing when you play against Shinobi is they just have such good vision themselves that they kind of become a secondary scout mechanism for the Japanese. So many good things about this Civ with this choice. We have a weird choice actually with the scout there though. Dock is at least going to go down. He's going to lose one ninja for it, but definitely worth it. Cat, well, it's kind of his oyster now, right? He can try to play long feudal. He can go for fast castle. Love the wall as well. Now that he knows he's up against archers, we mentioned the shortcoming of this is if your opponent gets a wall up, these archers are worthless. They are scouts according to the description. True. Good catch, Bella. They specialize in scouting, sabotage, and assassination. So remember, guys, next time you lose with Shinobi because you didn't see someone doing something, don't be a noob. There we go. That's what we learned. Kashik's now to follow up from Numu. Tricky spawn to try and breach, potentially, right, with the outpost now coming up. I think Cat is just going to try to macro this game. So Nimdar's going to need to be very aggressive in the line he takes. And that is aggression right there. Siege engineering coming in. Yeah, I do find it a bit insane that Shinobi can see through stealth forest, actually. I mean, I guess, you know, classic Naruto hopping through the trees. Look at this. Actually, the ram play. Numu isn't even trying to address the base. He's dealing with the dock. Cat is already prepping the horseman, though. Tricky. I don't think you're going to be able to get here quick enough to stop that ram. However, watch this. This is important. If Numu comes in range of those archers, archer ship wins. The Shinobi, they have insanely high damage against these things. They hit as hard as a horseman, basically, against siege. Right? Because remember, they hit for 20, and they buff damage by 20%. So 24 per strike, with a rapid attack speed, means they're actually better at killing horsemen, killing rams rather, than horsemen are. And double archer ship is a sick read by Cat. It means that Numidan cannot go and protect this. Cat needs to pay attention. Isn't shin-shinning away, so definitely a bit of a miss micro there as he got distracted. Busy cutting the reinforcements here. In fact, sneaking the ninjas in is a big deal. He can sabotage these. Whoa, he loses the rest of Shinobi. Okay, so a big slip up there by Cat. Bit surprised Numidan actually was able to mop up all the Shinobi freely like that. It is going to be tight between the ram getting the dock on fire and the archer ships getting it low enough, but he should have enough health left to set it ablaze. Cat, at this stage, you just need to go Castle Age. It's going to take way too much effort to reclaim this area. He should be able to get probably like 2 more fish drop-offs, maybe. 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 Are you kidding me? Okay, so no more food for Cat. No more cat food. However, he does still have, what, 14 sheep? The berry batch is really vulnerable, though. So he has to make the sheep work and then take control. I should use them. I didn't because I don't like that they can pop a smoke bomb and teleport. Okay, but in fairness, I'd say Shinobi are pretty reasonable. In the, at least when you shoot an archer shot, they can't disconnect the shot. Which I'd say is more Harry Potter-esque with home-seeking arrows than the teleport itself. Basically, everyone's a heretic. And everyone should burn. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Flown Gate now on the way. Numidan is looking to hone in on that back gold, but the amount of time it's going to take here. Fortifications are already coming in as well. He doesn't really have the time to build a new ram. Diving this could prove tricky. Keshiks are going to try to get in there. They do at least have the undermesh. Cat now is trying to rush in the Steeled Arrow, but 50 seconds away, and the ram is coming into play. However, by the time the ram is up, there should be 2 Mounted Samurai here. Love the cut on the reinforcements as well, just keeping Numidan from flooding troops across here. Dark Drop is going to be an L, though. Numidan, craftily done. Just a few archers there, able to deny. Ram now going to be able to move in. First Mount Samurai is going to be coming out here. Kind of tricky. You almost need to focus the Keshiks over the Rams, and that is a great bait. You need to keep this outpost alive as they risk one right now. Villagers are going to go for the repair. Does end up losing one. That Mount Samurai is actually distracting quite a bit here. The problem is these Keshiks are sustaining a long time every time they get to torch. Nice micro. Cat just looking for the injured ones. Ram should be able to break through this soon, and he doesn't really have enough to stop that. Looks like another villager did actually get sniped there. So Cat, he's just going to have to bail and run, but it is going to cost him. Another worker dropping, at least gets free out. What's happening with the food? Cat kind of needs to force a drop off here just to get more out. Mount Samurai not going to get healed. The Shinto, oh, come on. That's griefing. The Shinto wasted time on the injured villagers instead. So 5 worker kills, but Numidan still has an issue, right? Like, Cat could always sneak back out for this dock drop. So he does have to keep adding in units. So an additional worker kill coming in here, but the Mounted Samurai now can clean up what remains. Okay, this is where things get a little bit tricky. He's going to find 1 or 2 additional worker kills, so really good from Numu. But the tricky part is now your opponent is kind of free to go for relics. Because if you want to go for castle, you can't really add in many units. How much sheep? Okay, so 8 sheep left over. He's going to sneak it again. This one does get through. So fishing is about to kick back online. This was the scary part I was worried about, right? Like, it's only 3 fishing boats, but right now that's the world for Cat. Because otherwise he has to fight you to get onto the berries, and no. Cat, there's no ping coming. The ping's up here. So another big hit. Numidan gets 3 more worker kills. That's now 11 worker deaths. Dare I say, Numidan is doing it. I mean, it's definitely costing him to stay in this age now, right? But he's made it worthwhile. Cat, still only 3 Mounted Samurai. He's not even microing away the injured, so won't be able to heal them up afterwards. One Mounted Samurai beats 1 Keshik and 12 archers. Make it make sense. It's a Castle Age Knight. I'm going to have to defend that, and it's a Castle Age Knight. I do think that Mounted Samurai can be a little bit crazy on their statistics, but like at the same time, you could say the same, like 1 French Knight beats 1 Keshik and 12 archers. Make it make sense. 1 Keshik beats 1 Keshik and 8 archers. Make it make sense. You know? You have deflecting armor? Yeah, but the deflecting armor's for 1 shot, right? So if you micro that correctly, your archer's always removing the deflective armor, which is low value for the Japanese, right? Like a unit that was going to hit you for 1 damage, and you're mitigating it with deflective. That's not great. 13 units should somehow beat 1? I mean, sure, if you're not playing the counter type and you're an age behind. Like, what do you want from the game? Cursing, do you expect 1 Dark Age Spearman to beat 1 Gilded Knight? Actually, it might. They are that bad. Like, counterplay is a big part of AoE4. Flash coming in. We'll be able to snipe out 1 the Mounted Samurai, but Numidan is kind of stuck in the age now. Has to stand his ground here because the villagers are gathering up forward. He has added in the spearmen, so that is going to be enough to start scaring him away, but the kite factor is coming in here. And we know what happens to a Mongol player when they have to defend. Ah, there we go. My mistake. So 2 Dark Age Spears should be capable of beating 1 Gilded Knight. I can't argue with that logic. Flawless. So Cat even has the abandonment at this stage. I think Numu maybe missed his window here. He'd done a great initial raid, but then didn't mirror the tech, right? He tried to double down, but his army really wasn't big enough to justify a double down. He's just going to be able to block some of the relic gathering. But this is definitely going to cost him the next 2 minutes. All right, the fishing continues to blow. We're now up to 6 fishing boats in total. It's 7 Mad Samurai. There's only 5 Keshiks in play. And 8 Spearmen would be great against this if it wasn't for the lack of mobility. And the deflective armor, the cooldown, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. Yes, after out of combat. So 8 seconds after you're out of combat. But to be triggered as out of combat, I think there is like... Can chat remember? I think it's like a 6 to 10 second delay. I think it's 6. Because you don't just trigger... Like, you don't just go from in combat to out of combat like that. Right? And we've reached the curse point in the game for the Mongols. Tech up coming in at the worst possible time. Because he garrisons, Cat should be looking to go by. Instead, he actually charges in the Keshik. So, Numenor buys himself some necessary time here. And it looks like it's going to be enough to get him into age 3. That was tight and uncomfortable. So, like, look, he's out of combat. There you go, it triggers in. But he was out of combat for, like, I want to say 5 seconds? It's weird because some of the clock starts ticking, and then the deflective armor, like, cooldown thing shows after, right? So, like, we might get a chance to shoot here. If he stops killing him. All right, yeah, so he's out of... Wait. Look, sir, I'm trying to prove a point. All right, we're not going to get through the point. He's just jumping in. Good lord. The Spearman. Veterans, he's going to take a whole minute. He doesn't have a minute. There's really no time left here, right? He's only got 2 crossbows as well. No front line to protect them. Villagers are gathering in the massacre zone. I mean, this is looking like we're driving towards a Cat victory in game number 1. He has full map control, 2 secret sites already locked in. He actually prioritized that over the relics. And now, just a few left over to start massacring the villagers. Interesting approach from Numu. For a second there, it looked like he actually had it in the bag. But tried and true, Cat able to break through. Well, what a timing for mountain clearing. Semi-finals and Numenor chooses it for game number 2. Ah, the classic returns. English up against Malians as well. Interesting choice actually out of Cat, and wow, look at the belief structure there. All points so far on Numenor to win game number 2. Makes sense. English were the classic dominant civ for this map. Not many could compete. Can the Malians? What is up, Red Darksider? Thank you much for the Prime sub, mate. Welcome back to the Swarm. Shout out to Red Darksider. He's been actually trying to play in these for quite some time. I say trying. He has been playing in them. Hasn't been able to make it into the top 16, really. It's been a little bit of a tough draw. But I respect the grind. I respect the commitment. Gotta. So, strategy in mind for Cat. I'm wondering if this is going to be outpost shenanigans. There's a build on a map like this that makes you feel a bit dirty to do, but it's damn good to do. It would be Saharan Trade Network Javelin's Outpost Rush. It's difficult against English because they will have the short bows, so your villagers could get sniped. But there is potential to start off with, say, a Saharan here. The issue is, realistically, you should be seen doing it. If Numenor, however, chooses to be greedy and just shove the deer in, it is going to be a blind spot. Shouldn't you go mass feudal javs here? I think so. What would be interesting from Numenor is if he just tried to go for horsemen as a response. You don't have much of the map to work with, right? But like if you cut the map in the middle with an outpost, your opponent gets divided, and then you can just circle him. So definitely some potency there. I wonder if we get an Abbey of Kings build here, actually. Like, normally, Council Hall is the play on this particular map. Abbey of Kings just has a dirty hit about it, right? For the sustain, the early king raid. Usually you don't think about going for the king, because one of the big things on this map is the gold, the tree lines tend to be close enough that they aren't really raidable. And yes, Myriad did indeed beat Domino. 2-1, in fact. Then ended up getting beaten by Cat, and even that series actually had its close moments. That was another 2-1 series. Myriad's been leveling up, man. Love it. Like, you know, and correct. I forgot to correct it. Remind me at the end of the game, please, chat. It's not B in the semifinals again. It is Numidan here. But like when you look at it, Numidan, Cat, Anatan, Lash, only one repeat from last week, and that was Cat, who didn't make grand finals in the end. Council coming in the center though. And there's the reaction. It is going to be the Saharan Trade Network. It's kind of a hunker down play here from Cat. You know, the other refreshing thing about having a mountain clearing rotation, don't you guys? You know what it is. Pro Scout sucks. Yeah, there's not really much point in Pro Scouts because the deer are too close to the TC, so they get shoved in. That means the maximum deer that should be contested is 6. Now, I know I've said Pro Scouts can be worth it if you only get 1 deer stack, granted. But you go Pro Scouts because your minimum gain is going to be 1 deer stack. Your maximum gain could be 4. Did the bets balance out a bit? Okay, so yeah, Numidan actually got less backing in the end. 76% of you believe in Cat. Have to see if it pays off for him. Council Hall, definitely an ambitious choice from Nimu. Especially the food being so tight towards the TC. This is tricky, man. I think the correct choice was made by Cat. If this was a Mansa Quarry game, sure, I'd back the Lombo push because you can just block the backside. You can follow up with maybe some spears, dive in and take this out, get a ram, get rid of the gold. Your opponent will scale jabs, but you should be able to scale a lot more Lombos. But with the tiny wall here and the Saharan Trade Network on the other side, you now have a direct counter Lombos in the form of static emplacement that does bonus damage against them. You even then have the gradual value of trying to extend additional outposts out that will also have javelin emplacements. How is Cat going to trade? You're right, what a noob. Guy can't actually trade at all, GG. Can't believe, no, it's nice, but remember, like, the deceptive element is the trade network detail doesn't really matter. It's not about the trade network, it's about being a defensive landmark. But what he could do, if you find yourself ever in this situation, Venom Breath, all you need to do is all chat type to your opponent and kindly ask them to build a marketplace out on the side. If you ask nice enough, and they are British, they'll probably do it. So Lombo's on the way, and he just got the Alright, this plan is officially cooked. Back to the barn. Archery range reaction already coming in. It's javelin time, Cat. He's already cooking up the counter. Oof, so what does Numu now do with this? He has got a forward outpost. Smart read here. The attack speed aura should allow you to contest. But Cat's got this safety to it now, right? He's got blacksmiths coming. Undermesh pretty much breaks the idea here. The Jaffa and the trade post has a really strong arm? No, dude. It's just like, this is just physics. This is... He only has the extra range. It's the same logic as why Kobe can dunk more balls than me. I mean, clearly if we're the same size, we'd be just as good as each other at basketball. It's just height, man. You think White Tower is sacred? I think that's too slow. On this map? I know why Classic that was a solution, but... I think if you tried a White Tower against mass javelins, you die. Because it's mass jabs, right? Like, you're going to have to build it up. You're not China. You don't have accelerating build speeds. Oh, an archer range coming in. He tries to fish for a kill, but Cat doesn't garrison quick enough. So, first blood drawn. Good that Numidan did get himself a kill. Although, it's actually not balanced on this. He fell behind on villager production a bit. Only a 0.5 villager lead for Numu. Which feels bad when you remember your opponent has a pit mine, giving them like 2.5 more villagers anyway. And at this stage of the game, English have no economical edge other than that boar they're eating, right? Which is really good, but I mean in terms of passive income, better gathering in general, it's not like Rus where I could build a wooden fortress and get 20% more wood, which at that stage would equate to an extra free villagers. God, can you imagine how broken English would be if they had the wooden fortress buff? I don't want to think about it. Undermesh coming in for both players now. 4th archery range, though. Good lord. English better than Rus. Okay, cursing, dude. Like, this is how I know you need to play other civs. If you did, you know how wrong that statement is. That's like saying alcohol-free beer. March is up. This might have been too soon. Huh? I mean, he has got the undermesh timing, so in theory, you could argue there is a window here. I don't think this is the right time for it, though. He's not respecting the attack speed. Cat has got a lot of production coming behind, so I guess you could argue that in his favor, but this was not it. An unusual fight from Cat, and one that didn't entirely feel necessary here. Just get you back up. Numidan now is switching into men-at-arms. This is perfect for him. This is exactly actually what he needed. I think Cat, if he'd just been scaling more javelins here instead of rushing in, he would have equaled the number, at which point he wins the fight. Definitely drop of the ball. I mean, we have to remember that players don't really practice mountain clearing anymore. They might need to now that we're bringing it back into the midweek musters. Last time we saw this would have been Rebel Wallow Legacy. Steel Arrow has also been queued up, but Numidan did get it first. I just don't understand what he's expecting from this. He's jumping the gun again. I mean, this is unforced errors right now. Numidan didn't walk in and say, hey, fight me, right? He didn't walk up and say, your mama's so fat, and then run away, and Cat's like, wait, come back. What was the punchline? No, he just ran out. Twice. It's like he walked into the yard, over to the biggest kid, slapped his Milky Way bar out of his hands, and then wonders why he just got Omega wedgie to the point that he's wearing them as a hat. I don't know, man. This is getting a bit odd. And the reason why you go 4 archery ranges is for surge pointing, by the way. Like, you might not be able to afford it always, but you can get more out at certain intervals. I just think, like, there was a point where that made sense, but the Cats moved past that point. This is weird. Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot. Milky Way is a British thing. A Klondike bar? I guess Mars bar, they're more global. Everyone would get them. These approaches by Cat, it's like every time he builds what he thinks is a solid number of javelins, he runs in, right? It's like someone who has been saving up their whole life to buy a Rolex and decides the best move is to walk into a deprived Liverpoolian neighborhood and brag about it to all the kids on the street at midnight. It's not going to end well. He's getting mugged in this game. It's 15 longbows to 7 javelins. I kind of get where Cat's coming from. Like, when the longbow count gets too big, you're going to lose too many javelins before you gap close. But at this stage, add something else. Maybe even some scouts. Just to maybe bait fire into you. You need sofas? I think sofas is tricky here. Against longbows, like, you know, you need a lot of sofas, right? And you have to remember, this is not a game where he's got ranches going. He's not even scaling for them. Snickers, true. Snickers would have been another one. And Numidan looks for the close, though. Check this. Siege Engineering's coming. This attempt to go in may actually be his undoing. Oh my god, I feel like this game is going to be both of them essentially punting before their go time. I mean, Numu is now up to 22 longbows. It's a healthy count. You see how much difference the outpost aura makes as well. Behind this. No signs of greed, which I like from Numidan. On a map so small, rushing castle can get you killed here. These men-at-arms are just impossible to get through, though. And you can't go Musafadi either as an answer, right? Like, if the outpost wasn't here, you could maybe justify it to clear the men-at-arms, but it's not the case. I'm going to start a step in, but all I'm seeing is a creeping lead for the English. Now, Numidan is going to have to start adding in farms soon, but I think he's built a big enough lead that doesn't really hurt him. Right? Actually, for the time being, he's making everything last. He went to the deers, he went to the berries. So he might just try to actually skirt this as long as possible. However, if he does find a bit of wiggle room to get into farms, the gathering rate you get from those, we will be looking at men-at-arms swelling. I already feel like they have swelled enough, right? 6 is really scary here for Cat. This is pretty much the definition of banging your head against the wall until you pass out. But then, like, at that point, you've spent so long banging your head against the wall, it's become a subconscious routine, and you're doing it in your sleep. Until you get no, I'm trying to think of a fancy doctor word. Subdermal hematosis something. Have we got any doctors in the chat? Give me a fancy sounding term. Comatosius maximus. That's what happens. Okay, so Cat is now trying to go castle. Had he not rushed out, this could work because Farimba Javelineers would slap. He has 7 javelins right now. Subcutaneous hemorrhage. There's the one I wanted. Thank you, guys. I still prefer Comatosius maximus, though. That should really be something. Now looking to strong arm him here. Only 1 ram, but the men-at-arms numbers are starting to blob. Cat needs a lot of time. He's decided, oh, this game may require ranches, but he's decided it a little bit late here. Nimu starts to dive in. He can easily find the villages. Cat might be in a bit of a bind. Has to duck and run. Nimu. No, the A-click. Got to be careful. He's heading for the villages now. Last of the javelins are covering the escape. Everyone is dying out of the base here. Now, keep in mind, the Saharan trade network could actually save him here. This is actually a big deal. The ram can now be cleared up by the villagers who were garrisoned inside. You have to respect the damage of this landmark. Luckily for Numidan, most of it went onto the men-at-arms instead. So it wasn't this bonus damage that would have instantly wiped out a lot of the Lombos. Instead, the villagers that chased after the ram are being sniped. Nimu ahead by 3. How is this game not over? Cat is just resisting to concede, but farms are coming in. That means we've reached the conversion point, right? The point where English start to ramp up. Once he's at 3 farms, he can not only continue to scale, he can consider castle. This just feels like the most obnoxious way to try and challenge mass Lombos at this stage. Like, in theory, the counter just it does make sense, right? He is also overproducing cow to eat. What? Oh my dear God. Well, I mean, I'm going to tell you this. That beef patty is going to come up with a little bit extra protein. There's definitely flies on that thing. Cat. Is he really? No. Okay, I was about to say, I thought he was getting ready for a Fulani play here. No, guys, it's not a peta issue. This is like, you know when you take a Big Mac and smack it in another Big Mac, and you take that and you smack it, take a patty and add another patty, and you add a patty on top of the patty, right? A quadra patty. That's all he's doing here. And oh my God, he's actually doing it. It's Farimba. If he wins this game. Farimba into Javelineers. And remember, Javelineers unlock is free and quick. Sure, the veteran is going to take 30 seconds, but I think I remember correctly, it's 10 seconds on this? Might be 20. Either way, like, old men with Lombos don't really rush fast. Nimu is now trying to extend his outpost aura. Here you go. Yeah, 10 seconds to get Manson Javelineers, and it has to be. There's no other play. He could have potentially went freeborn, but you need your army as effective as possible. Diver's going to come in. Cat does have to back up a bit here. But now with the extra mobility and the extra damage, Houston, we might have a problem. Veterancy is on the way. Numenon isn't ready to tech yet. He doesn't have the outpost aura here. However, Cat needs more archery ranges. And also, he leaves all the food behind. If Numu can just stay here, this castle age is worthless to Cat. Veterancy did just tick in. Okay, so the men-at-arms line has been cleared. Numidan's backing up. He's just looking for an age up now. Rounds will be cleared as well. We do have the ranged armor 2 coming in. These boys are about to get insanely tanky. This is why Numidan backed away. He needs an age up. He's about to end up doing 1 damage per Lombo against these things. He was looking at the counterattack, right? Numu goes greed. He's going for King's Palace. Not a white tower against this. Doesn't feel threatened enough. I mean, I can kind of see where it's coming from, right? What Cat has done here is a very limited time play. Javelineers on this type of map, it's meant to win the initial fight. Long term, it's going to get countered out by just men-at-arms. Speaking of which, there's still a handful that are proving a nuisance here. Well, the outpost did go up on the flank, so if he ever gets pinned again, Gatling gun mode will activate. Combos are committing. Veterancy's on the way. 30 seconds until it triggers here, and Cat may have just overextended there. The men-at-arms upgrade also coming through in 30. And you just can't afford to go back, right? Like, I can't believe this, dude. This has been like 20 minutes of him running back and forth with javelins in the same spot. This is the definition of insanity. We have been attempting the same goddamn play for 3/4 of this game. Admittedly, we upgraded them. We made them a bit more shiny. We put lipstick on a pig. But it is still a pig that is about to be slaughtered. Now he has a real problem. I mean, the Javelineers, against Lombos, it doesn't really change the equation there once you reach castle on castle. Lombos will do really well because of the attack speed aura in particular, plus the high base. You know, this is meant to be more of an all-rounder skirmisher. You can kite your opponent to stay away. You can snipe out armored units a bit better due to the poison damage. The problem, though, is when you are doing this into a unit that has more range than you, it fundamentally fails. You'd think English Lombo all-in Javelineers would be the best choice. But when you sink your teeth into the logic, it almost seems like the worst choice you can make. I think Freeborn here would have probably done a lot more for Cat. The problem was he needed everything he could get. He needed it straight away. Looks like he's trying to pick up relics as well. Just needs any sliver of hope he can get. He's getting ready for a sofa switch, but this is not Fulani, right? It's going to be Farimba with 2 ranches. On top of that, the Lombos are close enough that you shouldn't be able to gather the food here. White tower? I don't think you need white tower at all. Not from this position. Like, if it was early in the game, understandable. But, like, when you spend, like, what, 15 minutes in Field Age? You've probably got a big enough army. You'd only white tower if you'd lost the fight. So, Sacred Site now locked in. I don't think there's any hope left in this one from Cat. We're going to be going to a game 3 with 1-1 on the score, meaning we still get at least 2 more between these 2 treats. At this point, Cat is just processing the loss. As he's been doing for the last 10 minutes. Yeah, no front line at all. Against this many Lombos, Sofa Trickle just doesn't work. Just look how quickly they melt, even with the import armors. It's been a while since we got treated to some mountain clearing. And even in all that time, Rural Britannia can still be heard humming through the mountains. What do you guys think? Do you want to see more mountain clearing? Does meme clearing need to be coming back in more tournaments? Or has this been enough? Have you seen everything you need to? The funniest part is I'm pretty sure this was a cat pick. He drafted this. He never banned that English though. Dangerous, dangerous game. Just so many valuable pro scout civs to ban. But when you have a map like this in rotation, it could easily end up being what costs you the entire series. We'll hit the fast forward now. Cat definitely has no way back. Ayyubids, he turned up to play today. And he's ready to excite. Last time we saw Numidan in this matchup, he destroyed the reigning champion of midweek muster. And now he may be able to do it to the teammate of that champion, B. Cat on the Rus, Numidan on the Byzantines. Dry Arabia time, we hop in, ladies and gents. It is clearly going to be pro scouts from Cat. Numidan, when he done that all-in Cairo Siphon rush timing, it was on Bullland, a more exposed map than Dry Arabia that offers up a bit of better defense here. So curious to see if he's going to be taking the same line. Wonder what the alternative could be if he doesn't just want to full-on divide send. Yeah, I'm still surprised that Lamb's cheaper in America than it is in the UK. Are you sure your lambs are real? Tinfoil hat on. Oh, you think that the UK would, you know, lamb's a classic for us. In fairness, actually, my country loves its beef more. I feel like beef... my feeling is that British people like beef more than, like, the rest of Europe. Everywhere I've traveled in Europe, I feel like there's nowhere where I've been like, these guys get me. They like beef as much as we do. I'm just flat out going to say, like, the cheese choice, like, we by default do cheddar cheese. So much better than most of Europe that by default does, I think, Gouda. Gouda has, like, no taste to it. Usually when I'm, like, traveling and I'm staying in a hotel and I just go get some cheese, I'm like, oh, good, rubber cheese. So, Grand Winery coming in. Are we going to get the special Numi cheese? If we do, it's going to be the Limitane opening, and it'll be the Javelin follow-up, right? Which is really, really good against the Rus, considering they usually want to go Horse Archer Rush. The solution is meant to be the Rax timing. But as we saw in the B Numidan game, if you haven't seen that, you should definitely catch an eye on it on YouTube. It can be slightly disruptive. Chicken tastes better than beef? Whoa! I don't know about that. More people consider cheddar to be more plastic? I don't know what cheddar you're eating. Maybe if you're talking like, you know, floppy plastic wrapped go in your burger piece of cheddar, but I'm talking about matching up nice proper cheddar versus Gouda. The cheddar punches. Chicken has higher skill expression in the cooking. Yeah, but like, which one requires more APM? But I did not think I'd wake up today, hear the chicken and beef discussion described by skill expression. Oh, that's brilliant. But wait, what? That's not true though. Beef Wellington. Didn't you just lose straight away? Beef Wellington is like one of the hardest to cook right that you'll find. Chicken gives you more variant options than beef for sure. Anyway, if it seems weird that we're focusing on food types and whether beef is better than chicken and whether cheddar is better than Gouda, it's because we're waiting for Numidan to make his move. He has to stop the pro scouts. Limitane are going to be on the way, but Cat's a tricky bugger. He's already got the deer shove incoming. That orange fake cheddar? Nah, dude, I'm not talking about that type of stuff. I'm talking about, like, screw it. Let's go really hardcore. Go white cheddar. The really mature stuff. Just proper mature cheddar. Not some weird freaking orange flopsy doody. Let me put it in my fake, you know, frozen hamburger cheese. I don't do that crap. Every time I do, I feel sad. Yeah. To emphasize, like, what we call in the UK cheddar, Americans would call like their processed cheese. I'm not suggesting you eat that crap. The deer pretty close to home. Pro Scout's about to complete. First Limitane is arriving just in time to watch the deer go home. And we should be seeing Silk Road, yep, being prepped now. Even the blacksmith timing. So this is going to be a rush into Cairo siphons. Remember, this is exactly how Numidan executed against B. I don't know if Cat had time to review that game, but he really should have taken a firm look at it. Because right now, he doesn't look well poised to address the threat. I can't remember if we have pasteurization laws over here. I can't remember exactly what it was. Maybe? Parmesan's pretty good. I do have a soft spot for good old feta cheese. That was a beautiful thing about living in Ukraine. Is like almost any pizza place I went to, it's a good country for like Domino's when you can get feta cheese on your pizza. That country also made me appreciate what is the not blue cheese, but that type of cheese that you put on pizza. Gorgonzola, right? Yeah, so that was the one. That country made me actually appreciate Gorgonzola. If I wasn't put in an environment where I'm like, okay, it's kind of on every pizza, I would never have tried Gorgonzola. Oh, so glad I did. What about foot cheese? Only for my tier 3 subs. So, just coming in from Cat. He has evolved the build compared to B. Interesting choice, but he's going to be following up with knights here. It's getting a little bit funky, actually, considering there's javelins, right? Like, the condensed formation for Byzantines should be a bit better. Cat, however, blobs archers really hardcore here. It might be difficult for Numidan to keep up on the count. America has some insanely high-quality cheese. I mean, sure, but, like, what is your default that you eat? I think is my counterplay here. Because we were saying for Europeans, a lot of it is the Gouda crap, floppy, like, plasticky cheese that has no taste. And that's like most European countries I've experienced, they always have it. For the Brits, it's definitely our cheddar cheese. Not the plasticky crap we're talking about. We're talking like, you know, mature cheese. But then, like, what's the default cheese for Americans? Good pressure. I think Cat kind of rushed out in a panic to block this opening from Numu. And all it's doing is empowering his timing here. I don't know, like, Cat's solution to this feels questionable. Maybe Spearman would have been better, just blob spears and go. Okay, Americans pasteurize their cheese. By default, the flavors can't be as rich as Europeans or France. Boom, baby! Shock mut. We have won. We may need your assistance in war, but we do not need your assistance in culinary! I don't know why I had to go French for that. It just felt right. So, Cairo Siphon on the way. This is the power play we've been talking about. Cat right now has not convinced me he has a real answer to this. He needs to bring a little bit of cheese of his own. Someone with a bit of tang. Stable's being targeted a bit rough. I mean, Numidan at this rate could probably afford a second Cairo Siphon. Hitting the houses would be incredibly smart here. We saw this before from Numidan, where he focuses on the threat of the production building instead of the houses. In this situation, I don't mind it. Then again, I don't think it's necessary. Like, you have so many Limitane, Knights should never be able to win the fight. But he's just really thinking about the protection for the javelins, and there we go. Second Cairo Siphon already. He's ready to cook this kitty. Numidan is about to put himself in a very dominant position in this series. Not many people have really been able to answer Cat and B's Rus, but this guy's about to answer both of them in 1 week. In the same day. Hunt and Cabin's also being taken out. Cat is actually having to go in gold. That's how good this play is. It's forced a Rus player to go on gold in the early game. They never do that. This is the value of Karo Ciphers, though. Like, a ram timing would have sucked in comparison. One Karo Cipher just does a lot better than one ram. You're seeing the impact it has. Housing panic is real here. Knights are going to get a dive in, but it is double Karo. Needs to start focus firing down the Wooden Fortress. This dive might cost Numidan, though. So you see the Knights, it's not as much about the Limitani and the Javelins, it's about trying to address the Rams. Starting to commit. Spear count is getting a little bit low, though. Only 7 remaining. 3 more Knights in queue for Cat, and it looks like the Karo Siphons are low enough that they will not pose a threat anymore. Numidan, I think he rushed his timing a little there. Great pressure damage on the outskirts, but the moment he committed to the Wooden Fortress, immense regret. He's just going to punt the flamethrower back in there. Knights will go in for the strike, but not quite able to finish it. He could get the final flame out, but chose not to. This is starting to break away from Numu a little bit. With your opponent going Knights now and you're playing pocket economies, if you back up now, you're getting raided. So Numidan has to either just fully pull back, rush castle, or full-on blitz in. He's adding an additional Limitane, but you can't rush those additional javelins. You can't just have to go Gremlin here. No, you want Golden Gate, right? I think he held really well with the Wooden Fortress. Numidan just kind of rushed his timing. The problem is if you adjust Kremlin, then Byzantines fast castle, right? That's the trade-off. I love how long the cheese discussion is lasting in the chat. For real though, Ukraine was a game changer. Living there for a few months really opened my eyes to so many more cheeses. Which you wouldn't really expect Ukraine to do, but God, I love those people. Give it poke damage. She's baiting Cat out here. Could be a good fight for him. It's a bit tricky though. The Limitane count isn't exactly scary anymore since Cat did get the Steeled Arrow. Nice, might just try to brute force this. They do go for the charge in. He doesn't have the protection anymore. On top of the javelins. Javelins that cannot be easily replaced. Even bypasses the Limitane. Numidan doing the best job he can to just try and skirt it while taking out the Cav. The worry I have here is if Numidan isn't setting up groves, he's going to eventually run out of steam with this play. Okay, he does have them coming. So yeah, we can see a handful of farms already coming through. So he actually might be threading the needle. He even is starting to save up towards that castle timing. How about Longbows here? Longbows is problematic because you don't have as much dive potential as they're slower, right? So you can't retreat away from a bad position. The other issue is you move slow across the map, you can get intercepted by just, say, a few knights. But the biggest key concern is the reason why you go Silk Road is in the event that you aren't able to keep your opponent in Feudal Age, he can't just react with horse archers, right? Javelins should do a better job than longbows in that trade. It's also higher base damage and kiting potential against men-at-arms. Then there's the final cherry on top, actually a really big one, which is for Rus, it's all about cav. Horse archers, horsemen, knights. If you go Silk Road, you eventually get camels also. I think in this matchup, you just can't do anything but javelin. Or the trade post mercs? Oh no, not one of these games. We could get Magadai. Or Musafadi. I'll pass. You guys and your obsession in games where you're never going to see it. Golden Horn Tower now on the way. Cat got completely crippled in this game. He needs to do damage now. You really can't afford to be late to the age up now because it removes the horse archer potency. This game looking to rotate around the back. Unfortunately for him, there is a single villager. Little Timmy has been eating all these olives himself. Although for some reason he drops off. Well, it looks more like apples than berries. on top. Like, he knows, right? Like, Cat's suspecting it. He's like, wait, why would there only be one worker here when there's still resources? Dives in, blocks out the Golden Horn Tower, and is now buying the necessary time to mirror the tech. He won't be able to stop it for long, though, right? Limitane already coming in. He's going to be dropping the shield wall to chase. So tech up now complete. Villagers are going to be idled up. Doesn't feel like Cat should be able to find many worker kills here, though. Only one. The Numidan's in a pretty good position now. The walls are going up. This is going to limit the options. He's even quick walling here to trap them inside. It's going to cost him a villager, though, by the looks of it. I'm not sure if that was entirely worth it. Still, it's less Cav to have to worry about. He does have the veterancies coming in. It's going to be much quicker for him than the veterancy for the archers. So there is an opening here. Also, Relic's fairly close to his location, right? Like, you could see a world in which he actually gets 3 to 4 off of this map. Guys, don't feel like you need to get justice for Tim. There's already way too many Tims. Right? They're disposable at this stage. Don't tell Tim I said that. But, like, yeah, you can pretty much use them as doorstops. Franging down the way. Cat, I mean, he's making the correct read here to still go Knights. Does still have to solve for the giant-ass Limitane problem, though. Guys. Tim had it coming, okay? He could have shared those berries with everyone. He chose to eat them all. All right, this is Augustus Gloop from Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory all over again. Wait, Tim doubled down the American football references? Oh, what have you guys done? I should ban you for that. You're lucky you're subscribed. It saves you for now. Okay, guys, if you think that's really a good idea, I will start making cricket references. I don't even like cricket, but I will just do it because you've opened the door now. And you know what I'll do? I'll do it on a cast with Drongo. He's Australian, so we can make that crap work. You'll hate us, but we make it work. What doesn't look like it's working right now is Numidan's push. This looks ugly. It's only a handful of Knights, but the Limitane count is a little bit underwhelming here. Knight, in the meantime, has Shuffle in the back. Shivs should be brought out here. Nice Akratoy activation. Does save a life just in time there. Wait. Did you guys see that? I'm pretty sure if you Shiv attack and then activate Akratoy, it resets the attack animation so you attack again. That was a really quick attack. Oh god, this might be a really quick conclusion. Numidan's losing a lot of troops. Frontline's already evaporated here. Yeah, and you see why. I just checked it. Look at this. Undermesh level 1, but Steeled Arrow 2. So the archers were doing significantly more damage into the Limitane than they normally would. He has at least pushed him back into his base, but Numidan, remember, has already got a lot of Olive Grove set up. He's up to, what, 13 so far? Another 5 coming in. Meanwhile, Cat is still playing on borrowed time when it comes to food. He doesn't have that long-term potency. Make a Shrek reference? Dude, we've done those all the time. Someone builds a lot of walls, you talk about layers. Numidan has layers. Like a big fat onion. Boys Fortitude on the way. Not as impactful as when you go mass horse archers per se. You're just going to have less units compared to when you go knights. We do have warrior monks on the way. The Saint's Blessing could be a big deal in these fights as well. Camels could turn the tide here. Looks like we actually have got knights shuffling into the tree line. Things are leaking through here. I don't know. Do I try and do a donkey? I haven't done a donkey in years. Oh, that's so nice of you. Oh, you're so wonderful. Look at you go. Nah, I'm gonna need to work on that one. My throat's still rough. Used to do it perfectly, which is very weird for a white British boy. Is Numu out of berries to work with? He is. Good timing to get mass on the groves. 25 now, more scaling. I mean, cat can force him out here. He can force the cat out of the bag because he's got 3 sacred sites and they can all be captured. And no, I'm not exposing Ezra to Shrek yet. He wouldn't understand it. You gotta wait until your kids can appreciate it and then you show them, you know? Showing Freya Lord of the Rings for the first time is gonna be good. Actually, you know what I need? I need a movie that's like called Stuck or Trapped or something after today. You move. Just got baited out. Camels are already down, right? So no debuff in effect here. And the Limitane. It's just a few too many knights involved in this engagement. It's going to be a bypass on the back line. Cat can now chase. More camels arriving, though. 4 just in the nick of time there. Needs to target fire them down. The javelins need to be trained at that back. So Cat is going to be forced to kite. Reminder that Cat still doesn't have farms. This is gradually favoring Numidan because Cat needs to make that transition soon. The moment he does, his push is going to dry up. Teardrop shield's even coming in as well. That's going to get more reinforcements to the front line quicker. He's forcibly producing camels, which is 100% the correct call here. You've got enough javelins to contest the archers, you just need to beat the knights. And the more you force your opponent to go knights, the quicker everything dries up for them. The boar hasn't really got much left. I'm not down to 300. There's no way you can gather this close to the enemy base. It's 2 TC behind this from Numu. He's about to take full control of the game. The Kari Siphon. I wondered when that one was going to turn up. Thinking about the rest of the draft as well, reminder that Numidan, what does he have left here? He's still got China. That's a big deal, actually. He's got China to work with. He's got Abba. Order of the Dragons, eh. Then again, like Cat, he's still got some potency, right? He's got Ayu, but he did also pick French and Jean. I don't know, man. I think Numu, with this type of draft, has the easy potential to end this in 4. Especially with the way that he's been executing against the Rus. Is it worth to repair the Ram? If you realistically see it as a win condition, sure. But like, it's kind of a moot detail. This game isn't going to be decided by Kari Siphon anymore. We're past that point. Whoa, whoa, whoa. My kids are not going to think that my taste in movies is old. My daughter happily watches Clifford the Big Red Dog. And I'm pretty, like, Clifford the Big Red Dog was like before my time, you know? I'm talking the old school ones. I'm going to start showing her Tom and Jerry. Oh, fantastic. And then she's really obsessed with the dinosaurs before time. Which is like, I'm just checking now. 1989, baby. Hell yeah. Girl got taste. But we mix it in with the new gen. You got to show her Bluey. Guys, no matter when you become a parent, whether it's a year from now, already, 10 years from now, I don't care if your kid's already 20. Go and watch Bluey with them. That show is goated. It's like Numenar's looking to be this week. There's like there's no stopping this man now. Cat's army feels a little bit budgeted with this many archers. The thing that's making him competitive, of course, is the knight count. Your parents put the news on? Jesus, boy. I think they secretly hated you more than Chum does when he does the seeding for the drafts. Sorry, that was mean. Oh, Unlimited on the way. Remember, this is kind of Cat's final pump. He's now about to be out of food. If these knights get wiped, it's over. A lot of injured knights as well. And you're not playing French. It's not like the chivalry is going to kick in anytime soon. Just a few camels as well, just kind of diluting the effectivity of this mass archers, mass knights comp. Remember, Numu is clawing ahead. Like, he doesn't need to win now. He just needs to make sure that Cat can't. Those initial wallops are definitely doing the damage necessary. You see how clutch Boys 4-2 can be as well in these type of engagements. Javelins are actually standing their ground here. Now, hold on a second. Numu. Oh, dearie, dearie me. We may have an overstayed, unwelcome visit into the Rus's arms. And Cat is now looking to punish. He had one shot, one opportunity. This was his moment. It needed to work. And he has broken him. 20 knights, 40 archers. And Numu barely has a leg to stand on here. No outposts either, no Mangonel placements. As long as Cat keeps on pressing, this is now his game to win. He's got a second wave arriving right now. Does need to target down the Limitane. The camel as well is a really big deal here. Only 11 spearmen remaining. Numu, if this reaches the olive groves, it's all over. Production rate should be high, but the food income isn't really going to be good enough here. The trickle of camels is definitely slowing things down a little. God, he can taste it. He's on the verge. The knights are now in. Akratoy defense might be necessary. Mangonel emplacements are on the way, but he didn't rush them. He didn't prep them ahead of time, and that is going to be it. Game 3. Cat will be the first on the verge of victory here. A best of 5 where he is now 1 game away from his first grand finals. Gamba wing. Gamba wing. Say it in the chat right now. Ladies and gents, welcome back to the semi-finals. Cat versus Numidan. We're into the 4th game. Cat on the ropes was able to get that uppercut knockout to get to match point first. If he wins here, he will be through to the grand finals. His best performance so far. But Numidan, similarly, has not been able to make it that deep. This would be a new time all high for either of these players in midweek muster. Numidan, he's gone for the Chinese. Chinese that is almost always banned. Very rarely do you currently see China making it through the draft. Same with Zhuji. In fact, Zhuji itself was banned by both players. Good map as well for China, right? Imperial Academy into a Barbican drop in the center. Prevents all types of rushes. Very difficult. Ayu have to get creative here. I wonder if Cat's going to try to send it. He's the type of player that plays more aggressive on Cliffside. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Growth Wing and an attack. It's a bit risky because one of your biggest edges in Feudal Age as Ayu is to play Desert Raiders. Doesn't work very well against China long Feudal because they can get into repeater crossbows, which is an outright counter. So, moment of truth. It's boo. Okay, so I'm wholly a believer that if you want to go for Gamba Wing, the time to do it is when you're leading a series. And it would be, although very ballsy and risky, a potentially big winner against China in particular. Because I'm wondering now, what's the plan for Cat? He has to outskill, right? He could look for Growth Advancement Wing just to get fast castle to rush relics. But you are going to be forfeiting Pro Scout play. With Growth Wing, you're not rushing Pro Scout play. So Cat's intent here is to deny Numidan? Because it's China. There's almost no doubt in your mind that this is going to be a Pro Scouts game. Especially when you look at the deer spawns, right? Wide enough that you could easily snatch up 3 stacks as China. It all begins with the Academy. Interesting thing from Numu, by the way. He went for the Imperial Official. If you guys have been watching the top level AoE4 pros recently, you may have noticed that with the Feudal Age Rush, you don't actually go for the IO until you build the Academy. So a little bit surprised he done this, actually. As at this point, I want to say 80% plus of the top tier pros have settled on Imperial Academy first, official second. Surprised he didn't go Dervish here. If you go Dervish, your opponent's just going to get way too many deer. You won't be able to block him, right? I could at least understand Advancing Wing here, maybe even logistics in Castle, because like with Growth Wing first, you now have 3 more villages to inflate your fast Castle timing. IO builds are better? Okay, what's your statistical breakdown to prove that, though? I'm calling you out. You stepped up to the microphone. That was brave. But now we're pulling out the chalkboard to see your explanation. Because a lot of the top pros have actually shifted away from this. Sounds like you may have been sipping the Crackety Kool-Aid. I know Crackety wasn't convinced by this build. It didn't help that when he asked players like Louis why they do it, he couldn't really explain why it was good. But we might forgive Louis for the fact that like he doesn't speak much English. Barbican is coming in straight away from Nimu. And it is actually going to be Pro Scouts from Cat. Okay, this is kind of sick now. I'm surprised he's doing this, but guys, the reason it's good is why did Numu not go Pro Scouts? This is a very unusual build out of Numidan. Just rushing Song instead of getting Pro Scouts. I mean, you're burning through your resources quicker, right? Sheep count is at least decent for that reason. He did get 19 compared to the 12, so you can forgive him for that reason. I wonder if he even knows. And then managing the wood with no supervision, you just go for the straggler trees and accept it for what it is. And then over time, you add in the Imperial Academy, you get the officials. When the lumber camp is ready to go, this bad boy comes into action. So now he's getting the supervision. Is this a Zhuge all-in? This might actually be a Zhuge all-in, which is kind of crafty. I wanted to question it at first, but the logic is pretty sound, right? Your opponent has a 4 spawn gold. The retracted one is the problem, though. Like, seeing this on the spawn, I wouldn't feel good about a Zhuge Nu timing. If, for example, Numidan's spawn was cats, where it's double gold like this, you could always go Zhuge Nu and win. Because once again, like, what's cat going to do? Build Desert Raiders? No. You are going to get the racks beginning, though. And yeah, okay, this is a classic Chinese all-in. And the funny thing, actually, is, like, by going for this Song timing, he's going to offset Cat's advantage, right? Like, Growth Wing is great right now, but Numidan's already got a 25% more efficient TC, right? He's reducing villages 75% of the time it takes you. That's crazy. I don't know. I think Cat's choice to go Pro Scouts here could hurt him quite a bit. Cat goes Advancement Wing. I think you have to against this. Knowing that it's going to be a Zhuge Nu, if you do anything but Advancement, you're dead. It's kind of crazy how quick this can zerg up, especially with Supervision, which is already underway from Numidan. Reminder, although he's got some gold workers now, he'll quickly reach a point where he can scale himself on taxation alone. You can already see this is stacking up. Next stop should be a Blacksmith's and an aggressive timing of Distilled Arrow. And that's usually one of the biggest weaknesses, actually, for Ayyu. They're terrible at going Blacksmiths. Does at least get the outpost up, so that is going to slow things down a bit. And with the fire armor, does mean that Numu may also need to consider a ram. Then again, as we saw in the last game, Numidan isn't shy about ramming. He might be thinking twice after that particular game, though. Didn't end according to his plan. Alright, guys. 1s if you think Cat's going Advanced Wing. 2s if you think he's going Logistics. 3 if you think he's lost his mind and is gambling it all on Bazaar. Trade Wing. Clearly, you're all going to say 3. Because deep down, what we really want is 3. That's my people. Gamba. Gamba. I mean, every time a series starts, you guys ask me to gamba. So, this is par for the course. He's not going to, but we can wish. Sorry to burst the bubble. Undermesh coming in. No supervision, though, because Numidan actually put it in quite a weird position here. Around the back. I think he was trying to hide the fact that he has a Blacksmith's. It's cute, but it doesn't work for long. Like, other civs justify this, but I don't think you can justify it with China. Considering supervision would get you the text in 24 seconds, it's not that big of a wait. Boo! Advanced. Wait, but it's got like a bag and coins, so it kind of looks like Gamba. And obviously, like when we Gamba, we eventually always lose. So like the coins going down represents Gamba. So deeply in our brain, we were kind of right. Well done, chat. Ooh, shuffle over to the gold here. Cat's been pretty sensible about this though, right? He's got outposts on both. He's fortifying them up. Nimu needed rams, man. Not under mesh. I think this has screwed his timing, especially because he didn't supervise. Oh, Nimu, why? Did he really expect Cat to play the Age against Yuk? It's what it kind of feels like now. Rams are coming, but I don't like this timing now. We're what, 20 seconds away? He's got Raxes, so this is Gulem's. Gulem Camel Lancers can work quite well here. I'd love to see additional Raxes coming in. Like, if you go up to triple Rax and just spam, it's just game-changing. And you kind of need it because the initial Gulem timing is really slow with 26 seconds. In fact, is Nimu going to do this thing again? No. But this... But... No, this doesn't work. Kaz has out-stratted him. By going for both golds, like, Numidan can't stop it. The Gulems are on the way. This was the thing to hit. He needs to get rid of the production buildings. Last game, he over-obsessed on them. This game, it is do or die with them. So you're going to be able to dive in here. No wheelbarrow means that Cat is going to lose a few villages. Camel Lancers and Gulems on the way, and a lot of them queued up. This is getting worrisome. First one's going to come out. The Ram can easily be addressed here. In fact, just rally the Lancers over, and you'll be able to save the racks. Probably wants to pull a villager to repair here. Especially because he was a little bit slow defending this. He will pull him. Okay, so Numidan has to go age up now. His Juke isn't big enough to really threaten a game end right now. I think he knows it. He's done a good job of removing the Eco Wing effect, right? So he's scaling a lead here. Remember, it's 38 villages at this stage versus 42, courtesy of the early song. So I wouldn't say Numidan is fully dead, but I do think he's in a bit of trouble here. He needs to get up in the castle by about 12 minutes. Theoretically, he does have the food income to do so. The problem in this game is that it's not a Pro Scouts game. So getting castle doesn't exactly just, you know, give the chef's kiss, easy peasy win. He's going to have to spread wide, and that's where Camel Lancers could prove a bit too effective. Alright, he's going to shuffle away. The Gulem's going to look to move in. And he just has to abandon the Ram. I love that as well. He's chasing away because he can just follow up with Lancers and the villagers to clear this. Nice dive in. The Lancer is going to be sacrificed, but the Gulems are on top of the Juke now. Congrats. It only takes you like 64 flurries of attacks to kill one of these. He's getting played like a fiddle. Nimu is at least teching up. But spears have been evaporated here. Camel Lancers can just actually stand their ground and fight into it now. This is fine. And this is where you should be looking for the Moss Drop, right? So go for the relics now and keep on pushing. And here we go. Cat understands it. Wall is going to go up, so that's going to buy some critical time here for Numidan. Let us in. Let us in. No, you're gone, mate. The day you picked up the repeater crossbow was the day you knew you deserved to die. Why not Pro Scouts for China? Because Numu was going for an all-in rush timing. I don't think he respected the spawn enough. Once again, to reiterate, if this was a tight spawn, say, this gold and this gold, his play makes sense. But look at the rotation, right? You have to go all the way around here. All the way up to block the second gold. Same logic with Lombos. It's just too much distance. Crossbows are at least coming for Numu. So Cat needs to consider a switch. He has got Pro Scout, so Horseman is definitely viable here. And just Camel Lancers go wide, right? Like there's deer, boar, all this stuff is deniable. He hasn't revealed the crossbows yet. This is actually good news for Numu. Was good news. That Gulem saw it all. Can someone explain to me why Ghulams have such good vision? Isn't that not higher vision than standard men-at-arms? I'm trying to remember. It feels like it. That guy sees a lot. Like, are they taller? Oh, no, guys, I get it. The extra 30 resources is so you can buy them binoculars. I don't know, I'm trying to remember now. I feel like men-at-arms usually have worse vision than that. It is also kind of hilarious that the guy on horseback sees less, right? You could argue that there's the visor blinding him, but then you've got Ghulams and men-at-arms that should be just blind. Where is Beastie? Not here. He fears Crackety appearing in the midweek musters and defeating him. It's smart to avoid the Master Crackety. Lancers, by the way, do have really good vision. That was kind of a necessary design choice, because otherwise Lancers would never be able to charge early enough. So, Dervish is already hoovering up 2 relics. 2 more to come home. Only 1 that they can't actually grab. Numu has built a pretty healthy economy lead. But he's also gone very one-dimensional now with just crossbows. And you're already seeing Cat prep the counter. With all this gold, so easy to go Manjaniques. BC would have played Gambit. Nah, dude. Like we need Faye. Faye would have played the Gambit wing. She would have delivered us the transcendence that we seek. Sadly, her degen hours don't align with our degen hours. You know what I think? I think the reason why infantry see more than cavalry is because that stupid horse's giant head is in the way. Because, like, look, I've seen the argument, oh yeah, like, you know, you have horse eyes as well. Yeah, when was the last time you were able to full-on Neuralink into your horse? Right, chill, Elon. We still got about 10 more years for that. I'm sure you'd want to Neuralink into a horse. You pretty much just watch it eating hay. It's like someone saying, I love to Neuralink my cat, and then you just get, like, a first-person shot of them cleaning their own ass. Is there any animal that would be... Eagle. Eagle would be cool. And a pigeon too. Until the pigeon gets killed by the eagle. So, second Manjanique coming in. We do have Nesta Bees coming from Numu, and he's finally starting to blob into infantry as well. Outpost also from Cap, because as we know, like, all infantry are blind. There was an attempt to get some more gold going. He's trying to look in the sacred sites now. Pretty good slew of gold coming into the pockets of Cat, actually. Gonna start shuffling in. Now, keep in mind, Numu, he doesn't solve for long-term food issues here. Again, neither of them have, but the difference is, of course, a lot of food has been pocketed by Cat off the Pro Scouts. And the Scud launch begins. He actually just hits into the TC here. Yeah, ideally you want to be going around the tree line and hitting this. Production is key. Alright, 1s if you think Cat's going to win this. 2s if you think Numidan's taking it. It almost feels like Cat can't move fast enough, right? Because I think he's most definitely on the clock here. Yes, he did get the relics, but Song, when you go this early in the game, adds up quick. Look at that divide. That's what I like to see. SBs. Cat. Let's take a bit of clipping, but gets out of the way quick enough at least. Need to be really careful actually with the Nesta Bees, because remember, the Mangoes do have slightly superior range. Kind of tempting fate though, because the pack up point means you're a bit slow to attack. I do like that Cat still has a villager up here from the outpost build though. Able to give that quick clutch repair. This was clock tower, so sniping the Nesta Bees is not realistic for Cat. He's probably only going to be able to kill them after he commits in. What's crazy is look at how quickly Cat blobbed into crossbows here. Numidan had an insane lead in X-bows. He's now behind. Okay, this damage is actually adding up. Cat needs to be... Oh, he lost the village. He needs to be a bit careful here. He's clearly trying to scud his way through the TC, but it's a hard job. You're going to have to cancel that. Wait. Cat? Or we could just burn it. We at least have the AoE heal, but remember that doesn't work for the Manganiques. Outpost is about to be lost. Kind of outrageous that Numidan can see up the hill like this, man. That's sacred sites for you. You capture them, sometimes they're not your friends. And look at this chase here, and he's going to force the fight. STB shots are coming in, but needs to be hitting the crossbows to win this. Numidan. Look at the flurry, but the Scud launch is coming through for the Manganiques. He's cutting away from him here. Repair crew is going to be there. STB shots are following. The Dervish do need to come back in to help. I'm starting to think the Dervish heal is going to win this. If you keep edging out fights like this, it's pretty good, right? Because over time, these health bars are just going to deplete. One thing that is concerning, though, is, you know, for that to work, you need a pretty long runway here. And what I'm seeing is Numidan is scaling for a really scary attack point about 22 minutes in. Look at the STB's count. We're up to 7 soon. Meanwhile, only 3 Manganiques now. For Cat to really remain competitive, he needs to be up to probably about 6 to 7. Springalds could be an option here. We know that Cat likes them. But in fairness, Numu is kind of falling behind in spears, and Cat is actually looking to take advantage of that. Horseman now getting queued. So much for injuries. Remember, he didn't go logistics, so it's not perma AoE heal. But he does have an activatable in these lads. So a lot of the boo-boos have been kissed better. Sacred Site decap is going to come in, so no win condition there for Cat. He has started adding farms, though. Only 8 so far. Meanwhile, the granary switch up now coming through for Numu. This is where the game officially gets scary for Ayyubids, because now you're playing into the late game against one of the kings of late game AoE. So you know what Cat's trying to do here, right? He's trying to just force a wide breadth. Because the choke point fights don't really favor him anymore. Fortunately, these walls take a little bit too long to get through. Notice that Numidan's like, come on in, my friends. Stay the evening. Yeah, you don't want to do that. But Cat has an ace up his sleeve. The Rohirrim Riders have not been revealed yet. This is key. Cat has one good shot at this. If it fails, he'll just get outscaled. Numidan's gluttony leads to an overextension like what is approaching here. This could be the game closer that Cat needs to get into his first Grand Finals appearance ever in the midweek musters. He hides in the Stealth Forest. And here it is. He springs the trap. The Spinmen get baited forward. The Manganique shots are coming through. The Horsemen are going right around the back. Crossbows just have to stand their ground. Nestoby's going to turn target, but the Ghoulims are starting to break through here. Horseman maybe dying a bit too fast, though. And the backline is dead. Cat, this was meant to be his game-breaking moment. But the choke points, the lack of rotation to get around, means we are going to be seeing a Game 5. Your tournament life hangs in the balance, and you trust the dragons more than the Mongols. Ladies and gents, it's time to decide it. Who is going to be making it first into the Grand Finals best of 7? Is it going to be Numidan with the Order of the Dragon, or is it going to be Cat from 3D Clan on the French to break this? French, definitely a solid pick. Pro Scouts, meta, map like Borderland feels pretty good here. Numidan admittedly had that Chinese pick and didn't commit it for this final map. He needed it to keep himself alive in this tournament series. Reminder that this will be the biggest achievement for either of them in the Midweek Masters. I think Numidan has already set a new high by reaching semis. Cat is looking to improve upon his earlier weeks in 2025, where he made back-to-back semi-finals up against B. think Order the Dragon do have some potential here. We were just talking in the pregame, like this matchup, OOTD when it was Jean versus Order the Dragon. OOTD done really well because Jean couldn't find XP, she didn't scale her economy, and the units could trade quite well into French. The difference with France, current meta being Pro Scouts, and the other detail being they scale villages over time. Now, the Pro Scouts detail is important here because this is not a bad civ at Pro Scouting. I'd argue actually that the current meta indirectly buffed Order the Dragon. They may not be an HRE, a China, or a Shuji, but in terms of the second tier of Pro Scouting civs, they slot in really nicely because of their better early economy and the fact that they can then use that to pump out scouts at a regular pace, right? Like of all the units, the one that doesn't take longer are, of course, those normie scouts. The Mongols can't deal with knights. Consider French would be chosen for cat. No, but what Mongols can do is outpost rush your gold and deny you. I've seen Mongols break French in under 10 minutes on this map. Because Borderland is the type of map where you can use Mongols well. You're talking about a very exposed starting point with tree lines which aren't even in TC protection range. And gold veins which also lack the protection that a town center would offer. Look at this, Numu. He's actually just immediately hunkering down. Yeah, it's sure sign that this is Pro Scouts, right? 2 villages on gold doesn't look like a lot, but for Order the Dragon, it's considerable. Do we have the mill? No, but he's chopping the trees now, so quite possible. Yeah, the build order looks a little bit weirder for Order the Dragon because of the lack of villages compared to normal civs, right? Sheep Hall is going to be 17, so a lot to work with, even if it isn't PS. It's mental in 2025. We still have maps without safe woodline. Why is that mental? I'd agree with your statement if the game didn't include straggler trees. But I think that kind of makes it a bit better. It's okay to have some maps that have unsafe woodlines. It shouldn't be the norm on every map, sure, but like it's variance, right? I'd say it's mental that in 2025, most maps we make has a big fat tree line that you can just eat into and not be touched. Isn't that sillier? That tree line can last you easily at least 15 minutes in the game. You could sit there just jerking off doing nothing for 15 minutes. It's an interesting way to begin a cast, but yeah. We talked about this before though, like I'm a big fan of having to earn your position in the game. I don't like the idea of maps that just say, hey, don't do anything until mid-game. So tech up's coming through soon. What was your gamble like? Let's have a look. 62% for cat. The Dragon Doubters right now. Well, you can see it's definitely going to be Pro Scouts, right? Is that a misclick? No, because he needs the Spearman, right? But this makes your Pro Scout timing kind of weak. I guess you can actually make it okay, right? The order is a little bit weird. It does feel like his timing should be weaker than Cat's. And Cat, funnily enough, didn't actually even bother with the Knight. He's just going straight into the Pro Scouts. Even double stable. That's a bit more rare. Usually you're just happy to start pumping the Scouts out of here because you get them every 21 seconds. Courtesy of the faster production, right? But, wait, Nimu. What was that? Wait, has he changed his mind? What made him change his mind, though? Because he didn't actually see anything here. Got a Spearman coming. The Scout hasn't arrived yet, so it wasn't that it wasn't a bait, guys. It wasn't him going, Cat saw the stables. Psych. Maybe he gambled. You could argue like he pretended. Okay, so yeah, it's coming in now. I think this is a reaction to the double stables for Scouts. Nimu was doing this build order because he's expecting a Knight, so he could maybe mirror the Pro Scouts timing. Instead, he probably feels like he needs to add in additional pressure first. So Pro Scouts is going to get queued up. Okay, I don't know, man. I actually don't know what this was about. I think it was the house, right? He ran out of population. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Because, yes, I see what happened. Because when you play with OOTD, 2 pop for 1 spear, right? So what happened to him is like in a normal game where you don't have units that take double the production, double the population rather, he would have been fine to wait for the house. But because of the OOTD population detail, he kind of got screwed by it. Definitely left him a little bit suboptimal. Do I like dogs or cats better? I mean, I've had cats my whole life, but I've always been a dog lover. So it's kind of hard to say, really. Do I do that cop-out where I'm like, I like both? My dream dog is a Siberian Husky, but between travel and the amount of degenerate hours I spend in front of the PC, that wouldn't be fair on a Husky. Like, I guess I'm leaning cats because I have cats, but I love both. 9 scouts for cat. Good God. I think it's fair to say he's won the Pro Scouts race. Numinon is still expecting the Knights, right? So he hasn't ran the Spearmen out to more dangerous locations to contest the deer yet. The Knights are coming, but not in a rush. You know what is underrated, chat? Roast pigeon. No, I'm not gonna get that. What is underrated? What I would love to own. Own's a weird word as well. They're your pet. You love them like family. But anyway, whatever. We'll stick to own because it's easy. Fennec foxes. Fennec foxes are goddamn adorable. It's like having a kitten-sized pet with the spirit of a Siberian Husky. Unlimited energy. I've been tempted to buy one of those. But I also am a cheapskate. So instead, I watch videos online and appreciate how adorable they are. So Horseman coming out. Full Spearman is a pretty lofty investment, kind of necessary against Knights, but it doesn't feel like you've really stopped Cat from getting everything he wants here. He's switching into Archers now. He's still got a lot of Knights coming. And most of the deer are just getting snatched away, right? I think Numidan's probably going to get about 33% of the deer on the map, if that. Like, it's 9 scouts versus 5, and he was later in his timing. Got him. 8 scouts versus 5. You can see he's trending towards Castle Age here. Makes a lot of sense, but Cat can compete from behind with Mass Knights. And when he does catch up, Royal Institute, right? Really big deal in this matchup. Basically makes you feel like a Gilded Knight. Don't Gilded Horsemen square up nicely versus Knights? In theory, sure. But, like, the reality is, although you have more health, you have less armor. So the health is actually comparative. And your attack speed is much worse than Knights. Right? While having worse damage than Knights. So, like, actually in a one-on-one, I think a Knight, if he gets his charge off, is meant to win it. It's pretty tight. But the issue you run into is you're paying the same price, and this unit afterwards can heal from Chivalry, which doesn't make it a fair engagement. And this is kind of brutal, man. Numinon has now revealed that he's teching. This is a dead giveaway. There's no other reason you wouldn't be able to counterplay if you were investing in the age at this stage. And this is why you're now going to see him shuffle forward. Numinon only has 1 Spearman. Regnitz is coming up behind this. This is very dangerous. Fast castling with Regnitz is kind of taboo right now for Order of the Dragon. You have to play a long feudal to justify Regnitz. Otherwise, you need the power of Burgrave to get units. Life is going to be able to connect here. Looks like the villagers just about skirt death and stay away from it. And the Chivalry is now going to be coming in. So this is where you're probably going to be starting to see Cat peel injured Knights. He did kind of fluff it up a bit there. Didn't get out of range. Is he aware, though? I mean, he could have clicked the gold, right? The gold is a dead giveaway. What could Numinon have invested in that has him down to 2.5k gold? There's nothing that makes sense other than age up. So he should be expecting this. This is where he can just start saving up himself, going for castle. And it looks like all the deer is already gone. It's funny how quickly all the deer disappears from the map when collectively between the two players, they end up reaching a critical mass of 14 scouts. Looks like Cat is going to go for that charge in. I think he would have got the worker kill there, but wasn't willing to sacrifice a Spearman. In fact, sacrifice a nice 2 with the Spearman, rather. Sorry, long stream. Gilded Knight now coming in. Okay. Is Gilded Knights really the win condition here? Against mass French Knights? I mean, you need some raid, I guess, is his fort, right? Like, French is starting to outscale you, so you need to do some damage, but how do you defend yourself now? Against Mass Knights, we're also seeing Cat now starting to save up, so this should be Rory Institute. He's already got enough archers to address the Spearman threat, and the other awkward part about the Gilded Knight play is they are really slow to produce. 42 seconds per knight. And the breakthrough in the wall is coming. Going to shuffle in. He does see it as well. And Numinon failed to pull away. That should end up being all 4 villagers dead. Yeah, he shuffles past. No wheelbarrows, no escape here. Really unacceptable losses at this phase of the game. Numu has at least got plenty of food to work with to get additional troops out, but he's going more knights. So 400 health sounds really good until you realize these knights are going to be going up to like, what was it, 310? Yeah, all of a sudden Gilded Knights don't sound that scary, right? This is kind of wild from Numu. I get where he's coming from, like, you build spears, you get countered by the archers. But surely spears crossbows would feel a lot better. I think for Numinon, he thought he was going to be able to raid. He's dead wrong, though. Cat now caught up in the age. He's already got the gold necessary to immediately queue up Royal Bloodlines. And then immediately afterwards go for the Veterancies. Yeah, so there's the Knight Veterancy. Royal Bloodlines the priority. Archery Veterancy can wait a little bit here. So how does Numu now win? He's at least got relics on the way home, right? He's retreat 1. The rest doesn't seem realistic, though. Should be very hard. We have got the horsemen at least poking on the other side, but you really wish this was one of your Gilded Knights. Speaking of those Gilded Knights. Am I the only one who, quite often when I watch Order of the Dragon, let's say you like watch 20 games of Order of the Dragon over a month, and you see a variety of units. I always feel like this is the most worthless unit they have. It's big, it's clunky, you know, technically it doesn't die. It almost feels like a cataphract with a sippy cup in that way. It also just feels really hard to do things with. Right, it's very predictable, you don't have that many, so it's very hard to split up and just raid everywhere at once. At least we'll be able to find the scout kills, so pretty big deal there. He should be able to patrol north side here to get this relic. Yeah, Cat hasn't played for it yet. Cat hasn't gone for relics at all. I was kind of expecting a monastery. It's now coming in. Does feel a little bit like he's not restricting the map enough. Royal Bloodlines is going to be there, though, and it looks like he will be able to deny that prelate. Okay, after I flamed the Gilded Knight, this is where he proves me wrong. Are you ready for this guy to bathe in so much blood, he no longer shows black and gold on his armor? It's just going to be full red. Look at him! 1! 1! Still 1! 1! 2, we done it! It's worth... It just looks so clunky. This is like when someone says they love dogs and they want a big dog, right? They want like a Dasher Hound, and then they get a Dasher Hound and they're like, where do I put it? And then you realize, oh, I should have just got like a Labrador, right? Which is what a French Knight is. Or I should have just got a pack of Siberian Huskies. Like this. Hey man, they do look cool. Like someone who just freshly trimmed their armor in RuneScape, but at the same time, there's only so long you can kite before we get back to your base, and when we do, you better have crossbows ready to defend. The red hooves look odd. That's because of the way... Wait, that's because of the way that like foliage hides a unit, so that's an intentional thing, so that like if trees show up, you see them. The reason they have red hooves is because of the grass, basically. Warlord coming out. Good saver there. Okay, so things are looking a little bit better for Numu, actually. He did lose workers, but he got returned damage. And most importantly, he's got at least 2 relics home. I still, with a burning passion, think I hate the Guild Knights. Kind of what he done here is use them to bait attention while he raided. But he could have done that with like 2. Right? He didn't need to build 7. Last time Cat broke through this wall, it did lead to a healthy 4 villager kill. Much harder to find at this time. Crossbowman count is looking pretty decent. Veterancy is just triggering now for Cat though. There's a lot of knights. I don't think we have cantled saddles though. We do. Well played. I've seen a lot of people skip cantled saddles and it kind of makes me sad. It's just a very powerful tech. Remember, that's the one that increases your damage after charge from +3 to +10. That means at the beginning of the fight, instead of doing an extra 9 damage, you do an extra 30. Yeah, it's not just cheap. It's even cheaper when you get it from the Ruin Institute, remember. Okay, so, Cat. 24 knights. And we've got an arbitrary switch in motion? No, okay, he does actually cancel it out. I like that. I don't think you want to try to contest Gilded Crossbows with arbitrary. It's not a great trade until you have scale. We do, however, have a horseman switch in mind here. I love the read by Numidan. Inspired Warriors is a really big deal here. The plus armor, especially against these archers, is going to be effective. Okay, so Cat is still going to be going for the arbitrary. I think you can kind of justify it because you stop building knights, right? Gamberson's definitely less impactful against Gilded Spearmen, but still pretty damn decent. Remember, against normal Spearmen, it makes them barely tickle. One thing I am a bit worried about Numidan for is he's pretty gold heavy with crossbow scaling. So you're seeing him taking risks now on the gold. Type of thing that could actually get you bent over a barrel here. Numidan does react quick enough. The Gilded Knights are in again. Uh-oh. We do have a keep drop, though. Okay, so should be able to keep him safe. It takes a long time to kill one of these knights. And he did just scout the horseman play. So Numidan should realize that blobbing too many crossbows will get him killed here. Adding in more spears is quite beneficial. And what the flailing duck are these walls? Cat, Numidan, I'm meant to eat in 5 minutes. Don't do this to me. I've been streaming for 7.5 hours, and I just want to taste food. I'm not going to get to, am I? It's one of those games. Oh, nice. They actually snuck in here. He hasn't got economy back here. The big problem I do see is Numidan, food is a little bit lacking, right? I think they're both going to struggle with that issue. Cat has at least got the back berry still to work with, courtesy of how long his Pro Scouts play did last. Tasty food exists in England? What country are you from to be insulting me like this? We can do food. Yes. Mainly because, like, we stole everyone else's dishes. And then they came and cooked over here anyway. But we can do food. Need a shake sponsor again? I'm working on it. Keep an eye on this space. We might actually have an interesting brand coming in. Nice. I'm going to get pinched a little by the Gilded Knights. Numidan. I mean, this is the deepest we've seen him go in a very long time here. He's been hunkering down for ages. Scary army. Admittedly, there is that castle to protect Cat's main base. Remember as well that French do get a very healthy discount, though. There's only 810 turns build. That's a discount that, by the way, Kildrani was completely unaware of until he watched our casts. See? Even pros learn things here. I am getting as hungry as these two are with a deer running out. We do have some extensive plays from Cat, though. The wall's going to be going up. He is playing for the boar. Yeah, he's extending his life. I mean, Numidan isn't two-faced, right? He's not dead, and on top of that, he's getting more of these farms in. British fish and chips does seem great. I'm not crazy about it. I'm not really a fan of fish. Outside of tuna, canned tuna. And that type of fish never appeals. Also, like, I don't think our type of chips are that good. Like, as in the fat chips, I prefer French fries. Now, so here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing, chat. We talk about the Indian food being really good, but actually, low-key, blown away when I went to London and went to this really fancy Pakistani restaurant. The food looked ugly, but tasted incredible. Nice quick break of the wall. Didn't even try to wait for the gate to come up here. Ah, we have Numenor admitting the reality of playing Order of the Dragon. You might as well build siege because population efficient. The cats eat canned tuna, so you can't eat anymore. Have you considered, I don't know, eating your dinner not on the floor? One thing I will actually, you know, this might get me kicked out of the UK. The way we do bacon is weird. It looks fat and squidgy. I gotta say the crispy bacon makes more sense in my brain if someone was trying to sell me on the tasty looking appeal of bacon. But this also comes from a person who doesn't really care for bacon. Now, pancakes! We've got to talk about those because it looks like this mango's gonna try to flatten like a pancake. Arbitrary a little bit tricky right now. So we're not going to charge him. Remember, he has got the Gambesons. Can even deploy the Pavis right now. Nimu. I don't know if he can stay here. The Inspired Warrior's Blessing isn't really being spread out either because the healing. He's focus firing on Chain Healing 1, which means he's not buffing the rest. And the commitment comes through. Cat sends the Knights in. Only a handful left, though. The Arbitrary have used the Pavis drop. And it looks like he won't be able to reach the Mango. Nimidon also kept the quality alive. For him, it's all about Gilded Crossbowmen here. That's all that really matters. So we'll be able to leave this skirmish. Cat does also, however, keep his Arbitrary up. For both of them, this game is decided by their ability to keep crossbows. Nimu may simply survive on the back of this Mango more than anything else. Cat is going to have to back away. He has still maintained control on the Sacred Sites. But now, we have to sort brass tacks. When are the farms coming? Because you're about to be dry on food. He's maybe got like 3 or 4 more minutes that he can stretch this. Alright, why is English food getting so much flack? I feel like people haven't been to actual nice restaurants in England. English food is like, I want to say kind of hard to flame. And the reason is because true English food isn't really as much of a thing anymore. A lot of the classic English dishes, we don't really do. We just do other countries' dishes now. No, I would advise not using Jamie Oliver as a representation of my country's culinary skills. That's like judging every Frenchman's propensity for violence based on Zinedine Zidane's headbutt. Right? Like, if I followed that same stereotype logic, when I interview Marine Lord, I'd have to wear a crash helmet for my own safety out of paranoia. You know? You don't want to talk about Zidane? Oh, okay. I see. I see. Yes, I know Zinedine Zidane is French. We're using it as a comparison. Oh, we've done it again, guys. Boardland to round out the stream. 2-hour game incoming. No, guys, don't. No, we don't need to headbutt Marine Lord. Just pushing him breaks his ankle. Be kind. Oof. Raid attempts being shot out here. Cat has started to kind of scale that gradual eco lead. It's not as impactful anymore when you remember the Order of the Dragon's villages are 20 8% more efficient. There's an announcement today that AoE free DLC is being cancelled. Ooh. I mean, I would be surprised that carries over to 4 and 2. If we're being totally fair, I have been shocked that AoE free has continued to receive support all these years. And I know, Don, I know you love AoE free, but if we look at it from like a player-based standpoint, you get what I mean, right? So I don't really expect that to affect AoE4. It'd be criminal if it did. AoE3 is bigger than it might be bigger than I think it is. It doesn't matter. It's opportunity cost logic. What can those developers be doing instead, right? Like, could the developers make more money developing, like moving those developers to develop a new game or develop DLC for a different game in this franchise? The answer is yes. Right. Yeah, chill, guys. We're not dying. We're not. AoE4. AoE4 is gonna get DLC. It's gonna happen. My dad works at Microsoft. We're safe. Oh my god, dude. This is Springle strat. And Numenor built way too many spears. No. The infection's taking over. However, the mangoes is a problem here. He needs to reach them fast. Off to the backside, he headbutts into the spears with horsemen. I mean, there's a lot of Springles here, folks, and there's a lot more coming. Currently it's 7 more in queue. The spears are getting thinned out here. You only need a small group of horsemen to reach that back line. And this is the difference, right? If it was adjustable crossbars, sure, the mangoes win. They clear out the Springles quick enough. They're kind of struggling here, though. The horsemen starting to slip in. The mangoes are starting to slip away from existence in this game. There's barely any bio left for Cat. It is just Springald. I mean, really, what is a Springald other than a giant gilded crossbowman, you know? But yeah, commiserations to AoE 3, but like I don't see this as them bailing on AoE 4 necessarily. I think for AoE 4, they're at least going to punt one more DLC before they're like, curtains closed, brother. And if that one sells really good, then we continue. Oh, thank you, Estrella. Well, thanks for visiting the UK. The us British people, we think this is a crap hole, so enjoy your escape from my country. It's okay, guys. We just need to make AoE free 2. 15 Springles. It's a deciding game in a semi-finals, and it's gonna be decided by Springles. He baits the spears out of position here. This is a tricky thing. You're gonna get kited, right? The horsemen just need a small gap. The mangoes, because they have to focus these down one by one, they're just not really clearing the field fast enough. Even Trebs are trying to snipe the siege now. This is ridiculous. He has more siege than he has military biopop. Oh, for God's sake. And now the villagers on the front side as well. I mean, there's no other gold for him, right? Numenor is stuck in the middle of the battlefield gathering. If the Springles ever turn their attention north side, it's going to be a massacre. Horsemen rotate around the back. They found the siege, and that should be the decisive moment. There's nothing left. Numenor somehow has 5,000 resources in the bank, but can't do anything against it. Behold, the mech meta has arrived.